From 432 Hz to 440 Hz, the impact of tuning standards on vocal technique and breath support, an interview. Today, we are honored to welcome vocal scholar Follow Real Tenor to discuss a pivotal transformation in the world of singing, the shift from the 432 Hz to the 440 Hz tuning standard, and how this transition has affected the legacy of Italian bel canto. We will explore how this change influences breath support, particularly the diminishing role of abdominal breathing. Follow Real Tenor will also introduce his original theory, the clockwise breath distribution method, designed to help singers restore abdominal breath support and thereby achieve deeper emotional expression, and vocal resonance. Editor question 1. In your view, what profound effects has the shift in tuning standards had on vocal technique and breath distribution? Follow Real Tenor answer 1. The shift in tuning standards from 432 Hz to 440 Hz, as well as other historical fluctuations, has had a significant impact on vocal technique and breath support. In the 18th to early 19th centuries, there was no unified tuning standard, and singers typically relied on intuition and personal experience to adjust their vocal production. As tuning gradually became standardized, especially with 440 Hz becoming the global norm, vocal expression began to favor brightness and clarity. However, this also brought potential drawbacks in terms of breath support and vocal depth. The 440 Hz standard tends to encourage singers to rely more heavily on high-frequency resonance areas, particularly the head and facial mask, which in turn reduces engagement of abdominal breath, affecting the fullness and stability of the voice. Editor question 2. You mentioned that the 440 Hz standard may reduce the use of abdominal breath. How does this perspective align with the tradition of Italian bel canto? Follow Real Tenor answer 2. Italian bel canto emphasizes natural breathing and strong abdominal breath support to stabilize and enrich the voice. Traditional bel canto requires singers to fully engage both abdominal and thoracic breath in order to maintain depth and stability in the upper register. While the 440 Hz tuning standard allows for more precise and bright pitches, it also tends to steer singers toward relying on head and oral cavity resonance, thereby weakening the abdominal breath support. In other words, this standard might help singers technically produce clearer high notes, but at the expense of natural vocal depth, especially the roundness and stability prized in bel canto tradition. Editor question 3. What is unique about the 432 Hz tuning frequency? Why do some singers advocate for it? The 432 Hz tuning standard is considered by many singers and musicians to be more aligned with natural frequencies, offering a more harmonious and stable auditory experience. 432 Hz resonates more closely with the body's natural frequency, particularly aiding in the use of abdominal breath support. It allows singers to engage their breath more effectively from the diaphragm, producing a deeper and more stable sound. Historically, many renowned Italian singers, such as Francesco Albanese, preferred the 432 Hz tuning. Their voices were often rounder and richer in tone, qualities closely associated with this tuning frequency. This frequency tends to stimulate the power of the abdominal breath, helping avoid over-reliance on facial and head resonance and maintaining a natural, full-bodied vocal timbre. Can we say that the evolution of tuning standards has directly influenced the development of vocal technique? Follow Real Tenor answer 4. Absolutely. Changes in tuning standards have not only influenced vocal color and timbre, but also profoundly shaped the evolution of singing techniques. Lower frequencies like 432 Hz made it easier for singers to maintain natural resonance, especially through abdominal breath support. This technique enhanced vocal stability and expressiveness, allowing for roundness and strength in the upper range. In contrast, the modern 440 Hz standard, while improving pitch accuracy and brightness in high notes, can cause singers to rely too much on facial and head resonance, reducing abdominal breath engagement and limiting the depth and expansiveness of resonance. Based on your observations, how do modern tenors cope with the challenges posed by the 440 Hz tuning standard? Modern tenors, especially when singing in the upper register, tend to rely more on resonance in the head and facial mask areas. This technical shift makes their high notes brighter and more penetrating, but may sacrifice the weight and depth traditionally expected of tenors. The 440 Hz tuning standard amplifies this trend by encouraging singers to depend more heavily on high-frequency resonant zones while weakening the role of abdominal breath support. As a result, although many modern tenors have achieved technical advancements, their sound often lacks the stability and natural warmth found in traditional bel canto singing. Many classic tenors, such as Richard Tucker, placed great emphasis on the use of abdominal breathing, which gave their voices greater emotional and richness in tone. Question 6. In your view, how should future vocal education strike a balance between tuning standards and traditional bel canto technique? Answer 6. Future vocal education should place greater emphasis on foundational vocal technique and breath support, particularly the proper use of abdominal breathing. While the choice of tuning standards certainly affects vocal output, what's more important is how singers adapt to different tuning environments. For voice teachers, the key is to train students to correctly engage both abdominal and thoracic breath support to sustain the voice, rather than overly relying on head or facial resonance. Moreover, educators should help students understand how tuning standards influence breath control and vocal tone, guiding them to maintain vocal stability and natural flow under various pitch references. In this way, tomorrow's singers will be equipped to meet modern tuning demands while preserving and passing on the essence of traditional bel canto. Question 7. Do the debates over tuning standards reflect a broader preference for standardization in today's music world? Answer 7. Follow real tenor. Yes, the debates around tuning standards are indeed part of a broader trend in today's musical world towards standardization. With globalization, the 440 Hz pitch has become a widely adopted universal standard, enabling coordination across international performances, recordings, and education systems. While this standardization offers practical convenience, it often overlooks the diversity of vocal tone and the need for personalized vocal technique. Different singers, vocal styles, and techniques respond to tuning standards in different ways. Standardization, in some respects, can suppress artistic diversity, especially for those singers who are accustomed to lower frequency standards, such as 432 Hz. For them, the uniform 440 Hz tuning may limit their vocal expressiveness. Question 8. So what is the impact of tuning standards on a singer's artistic expression? Answer 8. Follow real tenor. Tuning standards directly influence a singer's vocal color, stability, and expressive potential. Higher tuning frequencies, such as 440 Hz, can increase brightness and projection, but may, in certain situations, lack warmth and depth. This is especially true for singers who rely on abdominal breath support. The higher pitch can make their voices sound too light or insufficiently full. Lower frequencies, like 432 Hz, allow singers to more comfortably engage abdominal support, resulting in a more balanced and resonant vocal tone. Therefore, tuning standards go beyond pitch alone. They also affect how a singer conveys emotion and sculpts vocal warmth and depth. Question 9. Finally, how would you summarize your thoughts on this topic? Answer 9. Follow real tenor. The impact of tuning standards on vocal technique, breath support, and vocal expression should not be underestimated. Both the 440 Hz and 432 Hz standards have their own advantages and limitations. Looking ahead, vocal education and the art of singing must focus more on maintaining vocal naturalness and depth across different tuning references, avoiding an over-reliance on any one resonance area, especially the head and facial mask. Most importantly, singers need to understand how tuning standards influence their technique and learn to flexibly apply various skills to meet different performance environments. In doing so, vocal artistry can regain its richness and organic beauty while continuing to honor the legacy of traditional bel canto. Vocal Arts Magazine Interview. Question 10. In this article discussing the impact of tuning standards on vocal technique, you mentioned that changes in tuning standards have had a significant effect, particularly on the Italian bel canto tradition. Could you explain how this change has influenced breath control, especially the role of abdominal breath support? Answer: yes, you're absolutely right. The shift in tuning standards, particularly from the lower 432 Hz to the more modern 440 Hz, has indeed had a profound impact on vocal technique. The most significant change has occurred in breath management. One of the core principles of Italian bel canto is the use of abdominal breath support, which is key to achieving vocal depth and stability. However, with the rise of the 440 Hz standard, especially since its widespread adoption in 1939, singers have increasingly relied on resonance in the facial mask, nasal cavity, and head to enhance brightness and projection. This shift has led to a noticeable weakening of abdominal support. You mentioned that the reduction in abdominal breath support directly affects the depth and emotional expressiveness of a singer's voice. Do you think this is also related to the decline of the Italian bel canto tradition? Answer: absolutely. In fact, the higher tuning standard has influenced not only the physical aspects of the voice, but also the way singers express emotion. The Italian bel canto style emphasizes vocal depth and rich resonance, both of which are rooted in strong abdominal support. With the dominance of the 440 Hz standard, singers tend to depend more on head, mask, and oral resonance for high notes. While this bright tone can be effective, it often lacks the weight and emotional depth characteristic of traditional singing. As a result, the emotional expressiveness central to bel canto has become less pronounced and in some cases lost its original richness and nuance, contributing to the gradual decline of the style. Question 12. In that case, how does your proposed clock breath distribution theory come into play here? How does it impact a singer's use of breath support, especially abdominal breath support? Answer: the clock breath distribution theory offers a practical way for singers to understand how to distribute breath support across different regions of the body. According to this theory, breath control can be visualized as a 12-hour clock, with each position representing a different part of the body. As breath flows, it should be evenly distributed, particularly among the abdomen, chest, and head. Ideally, breath support starts at the 12 o'clock position, head, gradually intensifies toward the 6 o'clock position, abdomen, and creates a unified, balanced tone. However, the higher tuning standard, especially 440 Hz, pushes singers to rely more on resonance in the face and head, which diminishes the role of abdominal support as the primary foundation. This shift undermines one of the core elements of the Italian bel canto tradition, the strong, grounded support from the abdomen, and affects both vocal flow and emotional depth. If we were to return to the lower 432 Hz standard, singers could refocus on abdominal breath use, restoring the power and stability of the voice. Follow Real Tenor. Question 13. Does this mean that returning to a lower tuning standard such 432 Hz could help singers better utilize abdominal breath support and restore the essence of traditional bel canto? Answer: exactly. When we use a lower tuning standard such as 432 Hz, singers are able to perform within a more natural frequency range, and the distribution of breath support aligns better with natural resonance patterns. Abdominal breath support is restored, and the depth, stability, and emotional expression of the voice return as well. This not only helps enhance the resonance in high notes, but also ensures the solidity of the lower notes. The 432 Hz tuning standard is closer to the natural frequency of sound, allowing singers to achieve stronger abdominal breath support and a richer tonal quality. This return can help us restore the deep emotional expression in the Italian bel canto tradition, especially in delivering the essence of a song, as singers can better use abdominal breath to support the flow and emotional depth of the sound. Question 14. Do you think modern singers should reconsider and return to the 432 Hz tuning standard? Could this offer them more technical and artistic advantages? Answer: follow Real Tenor. I definitely believe it is worth reconsidering. While the 440 Hz tuning standard become globally adopted, its impact on vocal technique, especially on abdominal breath support, cannot be overlooked. By returning to 432 Hz, singers can better restore the technical foundation of traditional Italian bel canto, particularly in mastering abdominal breath support. On this basis, they can not only improve vocal stability, but also enhance the depth of emotional expression, making their performances more artistic and compelling. 432 Hz aligns more closely with the natural frequencies of the human body, which can help singers control their voices more easily, avoid over-reliance on head resonance, and maintain a natural balance and richness in their sound. Question 15. Combining your clock breath distribution theory, what do you believe is the key to restoring Italian bel canto? Answer: follow real tenor. The key to restoring Italian bel canto is breath distribution. Whether using a lower tuning standard like 432 Hz or applying the clock breath distribution theory, the core goal is to help singers reestablish abdominal breath support, making the vocal performance more balanced, stable, and capable of expressing the emotional depth of the piece. Only with proper abdominal support can singers maintain consistent tone quality across both high and low registers, ensuring that every note flows naturally and showcases the elegance and passion unique to Italian bel canto. Through this interview, we have gained a deeper understanding of the profound impact tuning standards have on vocal technique and breath support. Tuning standards are not only one of the foundations of musical performance, but also a crucial factor in vocal artistry. It is essential that we continue to pay attention to their role in the transmission and development of